Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Nikita's Rad Synapse, and I am Dr. Nikita here, your mentor for NEET PG and your mentor for Next. So we have started with this amazing initiative of AIMS Premier League where we have tests on the different subjects. So we are targeting at AIMS exams. So we have given the students a schedule for this AIMS exam, daily targets to be done. So we are done with the subjects like pharmacology, anesthesia, psychiatry, and microbiology. So yesterday on 7th of May, we had a test on microbiology. So at the end of the targets, we have the test for the students based on the new pattern questions and also the single best answer type questions which are asked in both AIMS and NEET PG. And let me tell you that the response to this test has been amazing and phenomenal, as the questions which are set are, of extremely good level and students are loving it. So if you are really, one of those who want to get into AIMS, this is a test series that you should attend for sure. And the most important thing, it's a free test series for anyone. All right. So today I'm going to discuss a question which was there in the yesterday's microbiology test. So let us discuss that question. So the question was, it was a clinical based question. As I always say in lengthy questions, the trick is to start reading the question from the last line. So the question says, what is the pathophysiology of the most likely cause of this patient's condition? So first of all, the diagnosis has not been given directly. So first we need to make the diagnosis from the history. So then it becomes important to read the history that while hospitalized for treatment of an episode of aspiration pneumonia, a 45-year-old man begins to have episodes of severe non-bloody diarrhea and lower abdominal pain. Temperature is 100.4. CT scan demonstrates marked diffuse colonic thickening. Look at the image. So this is the image that is given. In this image, CT scan, we can see that there is this thickening of the colonic wall, and this is called as accordion sign, right? This is called as accordion sign, where we see the haustral thickening, and in between we see this oral contrast, and we know that accordion sign is seen in pseudomembranous colitis. So the diagnosis is pseudomembranous colitis. Even if we cannot identify the CT scan, it's absolutely okay because the history itself is sufficient. The history of hospitalization and treatment for aspiration pneumonia is sufficient to help us diagnose that this is pseudomembranous colitis. Why? Because pseudomembranous colitis is caused by Clostridium difficile, which is seen in patients who are hospitalized and the patients who have received antibiotics recently. The first antibiotic which was shown to cause the pseudomembranous colitis was clindamycin. And clindamycin is used for treatment of anaerobic infections like in your aspiration pneumonia. So the history of hospitalization, treatment for aspiration pneumonia, following that there is diarrhea, is enough to give us the diagnosis of pseudomembranous colitis caused by Clostridium difficile. So now looking at the options, it is basically what is the mechanism of action of Clostridium difficile. So let us see the options one by one. So the first option directly damages the microvilli of the enterocytes but does not invade. This is a mechanism of action which is seen with Norwalk virus. This is seen with Norwalk virus diarrhea, which generally resolves within 24 hours. Next option is produces an exotoxin that can induce cytokine release and cause hemolytic uremic syndrome. So that gives away that this is, your Shigella, or it is Shiga-like toxin of EHEC, that is enterohemorrhagic E. coli. So this option is also ruled out. Option C produces an exotoxin that increases the secretory activity of enterocytes. This is one of the prominent actions of Vibrio cholerae. Vibrio cholerae, it increases cyclic AMP and it increases the secretion from the intestine. There is no blood, no mucus in the stools. That is called as rice water stools. So if this is in relation with Vibrio cholerae, so this is ruled out. Option D produces an exotoxin that kills enterocytes. Yes, this is the mechanism of action of your Clostridium difficile. So Clostridium difficile toxin, it kills the enterocytes. So the answer is D. Option E produces both heat stable and heat labile toxins that promote secretions in the intestine. This is your enterotoxigenic E. coli. So toxigenic will produce the toxins. It produces heat stable toxin and it produces heat labile toxin. Both of these, they increase the secretions. Like your Vibrio cholerae increases the secretion, these also increase the secretions. Heat stable increases cyclic GMP. Heat labile increases cyclic AMP. Alright. The other toxins which increase cyclic AMP, The other toxins which increase cyclic AMP, you can remember it by the mnemonic, that is, we have already seen one is Vibrio cholerae. A stands for Bacillus anthracis. P stands for Bordetella pertussis. So Bordetella pertussis, anthracis, they also increase cyclic AMP. Rest we have already seen is Vibrio cholerae and your heat labile toxin of ETEC. Heat stable is increases cyclic GMP. Now, very important and frequently asked is your diphtheria toxin and Pseudomonas toxin. Remember these two, P for P, they inhibit your protein synthesis. Basically, they act by inhibiting protein synthesis. They inhibit elongation factor 2, and that is how they inhibit protein synthesis. So, diphtheria and Pseudomonas, they inhibit protein synthesis by inhibiting elongation factor 2. Also, Clostridium difficile comes under this, and it kills the enterocytes directly. So that is why the answer here is your option D, that is it kills the enterocytes. So remember quickly the important points about Clostridium difficile, that it causes pseudomembranous colitis, which shows accordion sign on CT scan abdomen, and it is caused by antibiotics like clindamycin, ampicillin, cephalosporins, and there is generally no blood in the diarrhea. It's a watery diarrhea. There's no blood or mucus in the diarrhea. And history of hospitalization with recent antibiotics use followed by diarrhea is strongly suggestive of your pseudomembranous colitis. So I hope this helps you in remembering the different actions of the, the bacterial toxins. So thank you. Goodbye. Take care. Keep studying, keep revising, and keep winning. Do make sure that you attend the test series of the AIIMS Premier League if you really are aiming at securing a seat in this AIIMS exam.